Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. I guess where I wanted to start is before this video, this podcast, excuse me. I was thinking to myself, why even make this? Because, who cares about what I have to say, my thoughts? I'm an idiot, and although those things may be true, I just thought, even if one person listens to this and takes my advice and applies it to their life in any way, that will make this podcast worthwhile, if anything. I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with, is just you never put any content out there because you're just so afraid of what people are going to have to say about you and if it's going to be good or not. And because you're constantly, thinking of what people are going to have to say about you, you don't put anything out there. Having something done and have a project out there is better than you having this idea in your mind and you think it's going to be so great, but you never do it because you think it's not going to turn out the way that you want it to. Getting stuff out there and doing it, even if it's absolute shit, doing it is an accomplishment in my mind. The second thing I wanted to discuss was just college in general. Regarding grades, it's not even that I have been caring. Sorry, this audio is probably ass, but we can work with it, right? I would say that I don't let my grades define me as much, which that sounds really like, fuck grades, don't put a label on me. What I'm trying to say is that in high school, I really cared about my GPA, having a really high GPA, getting those straight A's, blah, blah, blah. In college, I just realized how much time and energy I spent in my room just studying for hours and upon hours, trying to get these perfect grades. I honestly really thought about this, why did I do this? I think that I linked my grades to my intelligence, if that makes any sense. I think I would think if I would get a bad grade, whatever, that meant in my head, that it would mean I'm stupid. And that's such an over-exaggeration. But low-key, I feel like that was what was going on in my head. I guess recently, if I do get a bad grade on something, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm lesser of a person, or that's so over-exaggerated, but lesser of a person or less smart. Most of the time it's just memorizing this information, and honestly, it doesn't take a lot of skill to do that. In our heads, sometimes we make it up to be such a big deal. It's just not worth the stress and the time and energy to get these super high A's. I could be putting that time somewhere else, doing something that I actually enjoy doing. And that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to do well in my classes. It just means that I'm not over-stressing myself. So another topic that I wanted to bring up is asking for advice / people giving you advice. So there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to people for advice, but you just have to realize, and you have to take it with a grain of salt, because not everybody will give you the advice that will be best in terms of your life and what's best for you. Most people will give you the advice that they themselves would do in their life. It's hard for some people for them to kind of take themselves out of their shoes for a second. I've learned that more as I grow older, but everything that someone says to you is just what kind of they would do in that situation. My advice would just be, when you're making these bigger decisions, first ask yourself. A lot of the times you don't want to ask yourself these hard questions because you're scared of the answer that your honest self will give. And because you're scared of that answer, you go to other people to try to tell you what they think. Because, if you fail, you end up not liking that or whatever, it's on them. No, but I think it's really hard just to take responsibility for your actions and kind of be like, hold up, I need to think for myself for once and think of what I actually want to do, instead of being like, okay, what do my parents think that I should do? What do my friends think I should do? That's one of the hardest things to do, but it's also one of the best things that you can do for yourself, because once you realize, okay, what I think matters the most, what I want to do with my life is what I value the most, and you take that responsibility and put yourself first before what others want of you. At the end of the day, you know what's best for yourself, and you know what will ultimately make you happy and what you want to do with your life more than anybody else, whether you want to admit that or you realize that or not. It's so obvious, but it's so easy to forget that when you go to your friends and your family for advice about what you should do, when you should go to yourself for advice first. And even if that answer is not what you want it to be, that's what it is. That's the honest answer. You got to listen to yourself and ask yourself, what do you really want? Okay, moving on to what I wanted to talk about next. Yesterday, I looked at my phone screen time. Literally 10 hours. 10 hours. I don't know if y'all can relate or not, or if that's just me. I think 10 hours, like, what the fraction 10 over 24? That's like 5 over 12. 5 divided by 12 is how much of your day? 41.7% of your entire day. I think my normal screen time is like 5 hours, which is still really bad. I think that I might be addicted to my phone. I think a lot of us are addicted to our phones, whether we like to admit it or not. I have been increasingly on it more and more, and it's kind of really scaring me. Like, I don't know, can y'all relate? Is anybody else like addicted to their phone? Is that just me? Is that just me? I don't know. But if I am not on my phone for like 5 minutes, I want to check it. I'm like, no, don't check your phone. It's just scary that you have that urge to check your phone. That's a freaking addiction. If you feel that urge that you like need to check it. And that's why I'm trying to stop using my phone as often. Because first of all, I'm not being productive in any way, shape, or form. But second of all, it's making me not happy, and that's not good. So, and even the time limits that I've been setting on my apps, like who actually listens to their time limits on their apps? I really admire you as a person, as a human being. You know, if you respect those time limits and actually get off the app, because I could never. I honestly could never. That is all I wanted to cover for today. I hope you guys liked this, or maybe it sucked. Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't care. That's why it's there. Let me know if you liked it or not, or if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, or if you have any other suggestions for future topics you want me to talk about. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.